Okay, chickens, let's talk about what artwork is supposed to be in your process portfolio. All right, so a reminder, we have expressive lines where we were making happy, sad, boring, confused lines, and your name as art. So there's my name as art. I did mine in marker. You can, but well, we'll discuss how you do it a little bit later. And then your illustration of different kinds of shapes. Now, some of you made books and some of you made posters. Either way, book or poster, you should have illustrations of geometric, organic, and freeform shapes, right? Also, now I just did the cut paper cutouts, but you should also have drawings that go in there. And then when you finish with your poster or your book of the different types of shapes, you should be making an illustration of foreground, middle ground, and background. Now I did organic shapes here, right? I did apples and trees and mountains and snakes and things like that. Yeah, I think personally organic is the easiest, but feel free to work with free form and geometric shapes if you wish. The important part is that you're showing a very definite foreground, middle ground, and background. And I'll go into more detail about that when we're talking about process portfolio. So what we're doing here is I'm going to show you what artwork goes on what slide. So here is Mr. Allen's copy. Don't forget, you got to put your name on there. Okay, and then what does a line say? Show your line experiments on this screen. What does a line say is, oh, what's going on? Oh, you're killing me. Try again here. And let's see here. Sorry, everybody. Technical problems all the time. That's Mr. Allen. Okay, cool. So then what we've got to do is we've got to find that document where we were making different emotional words for lines. So here we go. I've got my happy lines, sad lines. You saw this one in the video a little bit ago. Now, please do remember that presentation counts on this one. So you see how I've got these words covered up by the image. Let me fix that so it looks more well designed. So there we go. What does a line say? One, developing. Our expressive line should be in there. And then on this screen, show your final name art. Now, I talked about this in the previous video. This is where we're looking for, we can do it with pencil, we can do it with marker, we can do it with colored pencil. The only thing really you should keep away from is don't do it with paint. Let's leave paint alone for now. All right, now I'm just going to navigate. There it is. There's my fantastic D+, so I'm going to drop it in there. Great. Hey, it looks good. Remember, how things look count. So there we go. And then let's see, my shapes developing. And this is where you should have your illustration of the organic shapes and the geometric shapes and the freeform shapes. Now in the video I talked about how some of you will have a poster and some of you will have a book. Either way, right? Just take a photo of that. And I did mine a little different, right? You can see. But take a photo of every page of your book or take a photo of your poster and get it in there. Make sure they're labeled. See, organic, I got a little guy and our moon there. And freeform, these kind of cool groovy shapes, and geometric comes out of math. So make sure they're labeled. And also, I don't have drawings, but you should also have drawings in there as well. And then the final thing that's due is shapes in space. So hopefully you remember foreground, middle ground, background. Let's see if I can find mine real quick. Oh, I know what I called it. Starts with an F. Yay, there we go. I think I like this one. I'm going to put the snake in there, and then I am going to tidy that up so it looks good. Okay, there we go. All good. Now notice here it says label each. Now I'm not going to do this in front of you. You can figure it out. But what I'd do is I'd put in foreground and I'd point to the snake, and I'd put middle ground. I would write middle ground and point to the tree, and I would write background and point to the mountains back there. All right, that's it. That's what you should have all that done and all that tidied up by the end of this week. Okay, that's what you're going for. So give it the old college try. I will put an assignment on Google Classroom and Manage back. But remember, all you have to do to turn something in is to put it in your process portfolio. All right? Okay, everybody. Well, I hope it all went well for you, and I will see you. I hope you have a good holiday too, and I will see you. All right, everybody, let's talk about shapes. So there are 3 different kinds of shapes that we use in art class. There are geometric shapes and organic shapes and freeform shapes. Can you figure out which is which? Geometric, shapes from mathematics. Organic, shapes that come from life. And freeform, you know, those kinds of shapes that we really can't name aside from things like splat and blob and things like that. Well, there you go. I hope you can use that information to make wonderful art. Hello, everyone. I want to talk about cleaning up. All right, it's pretty easy to do the cleaning up. If you're using something with water, you dump the water out, give it a little rinse in the sink, put it in the drying rack. That one's wrong. If you are working with a paintbrush, you give it a little rinse, put it in the drying rack. If you've got a palette that you've been using, you rinse it off, put it in the drying rack. If you've got one of those dip pens, right, you kind of work the ink off, put it in the drying rack. If you have a watercolor palette, you leave it in the middle of the table to dry overnight, okay? That's it. Don't forget that there is a little bit of a lag on these faucets, so sometimes you turn them off and it takes a minute for them to turn off. Trust your intuition that you turned it off. Give it a moment to make sure it's turned off rather than turn it back and forth and then walk away. Okay?